Next week, the playoffs begin for a lot of fantasy leagues out there, and from this point on, every single move you make could decide your season. This isn't a time to play it safe. You need players whose roles are expanding, whose minutes are climbing, and who have actual real upside at this point of the year. And at the same time, you have to be willing to move on for the names that are declining, getting rested, and they're starting to lose their value. Today, I've got 5 players who are trending up at the perfect time of the year, and if you add them right now, they could legitimately help you bring home a championship, so it's time to lock in, baby. Welcome back to The Corner, your #1 destination for everything fantasy basketball related. Every single week, I'm giving you guys waiver targets, trade advice, sleeper picks, and everything you need to stay one step ahead of your fantasy leagues. If you've been enjoying the content here on the channel, please make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a single upload. Now let's get into the video. This is what we have been building toward all season, and the playoffs are finally here. This is where rivalries get real, the group chat always gets toxic, and every single matchup feels personal. This is where all these weeks of work starts to pay off. And yeah, in theory, we could finally put the phone down and enjoy the spring weather. But let's be honest, none of us are going to do that right now. So let's get into the names that are actually going to decide our entire fantasy season. First up, we have Pelle Larsson. The Miami Heat over the past couple of seasons have been stuck in that really awkward middle ground. They're not bad enough to bail out and just rebuild the entire team. And they have that weird ego where they just won't do that. But they're also not good enough to seriously contend for a championship with this current roster. It's been basketball purgatory for a Miami Heat fan, which I am. But through all of that, there has been a really bright spot emerging lately on the team, and that has been Pelle Larsson. If you watched the Heat last year, he's shown some really impressive flashes, but they never really gave him a chance. And this year, in his second season, Larsson has started to show flashes of that once again, and that is exactly what this team has been missing all year long. And now it's starting to happen consistently. With the prolonged absences of Tyler Hero all season and Davion Mitchell as of late, plus the inconsistency from Andrew Wiggins, Miami has been forced to look elsewhere for production, and that search has finally led to Larsson getting real minutes for the Heat. And he is starting to get a real meaningful role in the offense. What stands out with him isn't just the scoring, he's not a prolific scorer, it's just how he gets those points. He adds penetration to this lineup, and that's something that was lacking when the backcourt was more perimeter focused with Davion Mitchell and Tyler Hero. He's attacking the paint, collapsing the defenses, and most importantly, he's getting to the free throw line. Over the month of February, he's averaging 3.3 free throws per game, and that is huge because those are stable points that you can expect from Pelle Larsson. With the Heat fighting to escape the play-in and secure a better seed, these games for Miami matter a lot. You do not want to get stuck into the play-in once again and end up having to face Detroit or Boston on the road and a disadvantage for the Heat. That means that Larsson's minutes should stay solid going into the playoffs, and meaningful minutes at this point of the season are everything. If you're looking for a late season riser who could potentially help you win a matchup, Pelle Larsson is a name that you need to seriously consider. Next up, we have Nick Clifford or Nick Clifford. Either way, this should not be a shock at this point. The Kings have been a dumpster fire all year long, and at this point, they have officially waved the white flag on the season. I know I have mentioned this before that Zach LaVine is done, Sabonis is done, DeMar DeRozan's minutes are starting to trend downward. He's not playing as many nights. And when that happens, one thing is guaranteed, that the young guys are starting to get a real opportunity to show the league what they got. And that's where Clifford comes in. His role has grown noticeably over the past couple of weeks, and it is not by accident. He was a first-round pick for a reason this past summer. The tools are there, the size, the defensive instincts, and the ability to contribute without needing 15 shots a night. Now, he's starting to finally get the opportunity to show what he is capable of consistently. What I like about this situation is primarily the context. Sacramento is not playing for wins anymore at this point. They're playing for evaluation and development of their talent. That means he is going to get extended minutes almost nightly, longer leashes to make more mistakes, and with more mistakes also comes more opportunities. For fantasy, that is gold for this time of the year. As Clifford gets more comfortable and the reps start to add up, you can already see the flashes turning into real-time production. He's not just filling in space out there in the court, he is impacting games for the Kings. And when teams shift into development mode this late in the season, These are the exact type of players that you want on your roster in the playoffs. Opportunity plus talent this late in the year, that's 100% a bet I'm willing to take. Will O'Reilly is going to be another rookie in another dumpster fire situation, but this one comes with a little twist. Keyshawn George has been huge all season. I called his breakout really early into the year, and he delivered almost week in and week out. He proved that he belongs in the league this year. But now we're at that weird late season phase where bad teams start protecting the guys that actually have value, and that's exactly what's happening in Washington. The Wizards clearly see George as part of the future, which means they're not going to run him into the ground down the stretch. His minutes are already starting to get monitored and dwindle, and once a team shifts into preservation mode with their young talent, that production can and will disappear fast. Usually when a team goes into this weird magic land where players just don't play at the end of the year, rotations start to get really experimental and priorities for that team change. That's where Will Riley enters the picture. Riley is not the most efficient player in the world, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to lie about that. But efficiency almost does not matter right now. The amount of shots he's taking does. Opportunity on the court does. And Riley is about to get both moving forward. If he's seeing about 28 to 32 minutes a night on a team that has nothing to lose, the counting stats are going to follow for Riley. It might not be pretty basketball, but pretty doesn't win you playoff matchups. Minutes and usage always do. And with Keyshawn George likely being handled very carefully for the remainder of the season, Riley is walking into a situation where the opportunity alone makes him worth the ad. Next up on this list, we have Prosper from Memphis. And let's just get one thing straight before we go into the whole explanation. Prosper is definitely not a player I'm going to sell my house for. But the fantasy playoffs aren't about flashy names. They're about opportunity. And as long as Adama is still sidelined, which right now they say he should be returning soon, but they have been saying that for a week and he still has not touched the court. Prosper has a real clear path to real minutes in the Grizzlies rotation right now. He has been playing a significant amount of time as of late, and when he's out there, he has shown flashes of being active on defense, crashing the boards, and giving you just enough scoring to not kill your roster. He's not going to win you the week by any means at all, but he can absolutely stabilize the spot in your lineup if you need depth. That being said, that is strictly a situation-based ad. The moment Adama is cleared and back to full minutes, Prosper's value likely takes a massive hit. If the circumstances change, I'm not holding long term, but for right now, in the middle of a playoff push, I think he is a good bet, but a risky play in a short-term piece that you can plug in and feel decent about. The last player on this list is going to be Derrick Jones Jr., and he has been a fantasy staple for years at this point, especially as one of those glue guys who can give you a sneaky value across the board for a weekend. But this season on the Clippers has definitely been a lot slower for him, mostly because of injuries and the constant lineup shifting in LA. With Kawhi in and out of the lineup and Benedict Mathurin now carving out a bigger role after the trades, the usage just isn't consistently there for Jones as of yet to be anything close to a must start or must add option, but the opportunity spikes some nights, but it's not stable enough to fully trust him down the stretch if they're looking to still play Kawhi at the end of the season. That said, in deeper leagues, 12 teams and up, I still do think Derrick Jones Jr. is a serviceable option if healthy. He can give you solid minutes, a few stocks, and won't completely tank your week. Just don't go in it expecting him to be a breakout star at this stage of the season. I think he's just more of a depth stabilizer than a league winner. So these are the players I'm targeting to close out the season strong, and hopefully they will bring me home a fantasy championship this year. At this point, every single move matters. One smart pickup can swing an entire matchup, and one missed opportunity can end your entire season. If this video helped you, don't stop here. Click on the video that's on your screen right now, and that one I break down even more tips that you need as we head into the fantasy playoffs. You want to stay aggressive, stay active, and stay one step ahead of your league. Thanks for stopping by the corner. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.